So, welcome to the Pleeka Podcast Mother's Day edition. I'm Jerome.
And I'm Angela, Jerome's mom.
Yeah, so I want to start this thing. It's gonna be like a 3-part series. We're doing like get to know Pleeka, except for a special beginning part of it, we're gonna do a Mother's Day one where I talk to my mother. So we're gonna ask her a bunch of random questions and just get to know her. But first off, before we get into the podcast, I want to say we have shirts available now that you can order. And it's very cool. I'll put the link to them in the description if you want to buy them. We only have one shirt available now, but I will throw up some shirts. We made some special shirts for ourselves that once we get them, we will do an unboxing, and you can comment on that video if you want to order them. They just say Pleeka, but we did like some cool designs with the same Pleeka. Angela actually helped me design them in my bedroom last night.
And I got a tank top.
Yeah, she got a 4 from Mompia tank top, which is pretty cool. But so in this podcast, the video you're watching right now, I'll throw up the pictures of the shirts that we custom made for ourselves. If you want those, comment down below, and we could put them up for sale. But as of right now, we just have the shirt up for the Pleeka Podcast. It's the logo that we use for the Pleeka Podcast, like on iTunes and shit like that. But yes, I wanted to get that out there. That's pretty cool. We have some T-shirts now you can go and buy. I feel like to set the mood for what this podcast is going to be, I think you should tell us some of your poop stories.
Really? You get me on here to do that to me, huh?
Well, I just thought, set the plate.
The problem is the poop stories.
Mm-hmm.
You try to forget about them.
Yeah, but
we don't want to remember them.
We all know you didn't.
I can't believe that you want me to tell them.
Just tell your favorite one if you had a favorite. Like
favorite one? Who has a favorite shit your pants story?
I think everybody's got like a back pocket shit their pants story.
Well, you got one.
I'll tell you one because I don't know if
one?
you know this about me. But one day I got home from school and I was in the kitchen. I think I was making like a hot pocket or something. I don't know what I was making.
Did you drop it?
Possibly, because as I was making the hot pocket, I got a fart and and it was a little more than a fart, and I sharted, and poop was all over my underwear, and I ran in the backyard, and I went in our little storage room we got right there, and I pulled down my pants, and I took my underwear, and I threw my underwear in the alley, came back inside with my pants on, and cleaned myself up, put new underwear on, didn't tell anybody until now.
Wow, and that is out in the universe now.
Yeah, see, so I shared I shared my poop story, but yeah, so I'm gonna put on some dramatic music while you.
Well, I do have one that involves my mother.
Mm-hmm.
And you're involved in this one.
Yeah.
It's not a very good one. Okay, so there was a night where your father decided to be a bartender, and he was making mixed drinks, and he doesn't drink pineapple juice, so he doesn't know the difference between good pineapple juice and bad pineapple juice.
Mm-hmm.
And the pineapple juice that he was using to make these mixed drinks was brown. So that starts it out not good.
Usually when I see pineapples that are brown, I usually think, oh, that's one I want to drink.
Well, I didn't know because it was mixed with stuff.
Well, I know, I'm saying for him, like.
For him, yeah, I didn't know this. So needless to say, I drank a few of those drinks.
Mm-hmm. So
the next morning, we had planned a trip to go to Cottonwood. And we were going to go see family, and then we were going to stop by my mom's grave.
Mm-hmm.
And while I had too many drinks in the first place, so I had a hangover, on top of it, the brown pineapple juice came back to talk to me. And let's just say it was coming out of both ends. And we went on the trip anyway. And, well, I sort of shit my pants.
Sort of?
On the way. So we had to stop and take care of that. Then we get to the grave site, and I shit myself again. So fortunately,
that's a total of 2 shits in the story now?
That's 2 so far. So fortunately, there's a Walmart there.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to Walmart, and Daddy goes in and leaves me in the car with you and Taylor. Taylor was a baby at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And goes and buys me some Scooby-Doo boxers.
And hold on, let me predict the future a little bit here. Did you shit in those too?
Yes. Because then we get back on the road and we're going to come home. And we had to pull over. I had to throw up. So I was terrified to throw up because there's
Because
pressure.
the pressure, you might shit your pants.
Right. So we're pulled off to this little side road just before you go out of town back here from Cottonwood. I'm throwing up, and sure enough, I shit my pants. And I look over at Daddy, and I go, I shit. And the look on his face was like, what are we going to do now? Like, we're out of clothes. We don't have anything else. So he went and bought me something else to wear. And I made it home without shitting myself for the next hour and a half. But then we get home. I think I slept probably on the way home. So we get home, and as soon as we pull in, it's like my ass knew that we were home. And I was going to be near a toilet. So I get out of the car.
I just want to mention, as she's telling the story, she's crying.
I'm totally crying. So I get home, and we're pulling in the driveway. And I just jump out of the car and just run in the door.
This is where I remember. There was, think of the chocolate fountain from Willy Wonka. It was like someone took that and just poured it from our driveway all the way through our house into the bathroom.
Yeah, it was so bad. Like, they didn't even have time to realize that I jumped out of the car.
I swear to God,
like,
she was like,
slam, boom, bang, like the door slamming everything, and then just me running.
you were the Flash in that instance, except instead of lightning following behind you, it was just pure shit following you through the house.
So bad. And we had 2 Rottweilers at the time. Neither one of them would sniff it.
Yeah, which, dogs eat shit all the time. Your shit was so, toxic. The dog's like, yeah, fuck that.
They wouldn't go near it. Yeah, it was bad. So then, while I'm in there doing my thing, Nick's taking care of the kids. And Jerome goes, Daddy, can we get some air freshener?
Because it smells really bad.
So they ended up going to the store and getting me Gatorade and air freshener. And that's probably my worst shit story.
That's your number one bad time.
Yeah, considering I shit in my mother's grave. I mean, come on.
Can I be the name of this podcast? I shit in my mother's grave.
I didn't shit in it or on it. I was near the car, but I was still there to see my mother's grave, and I shit my pants.
How many people in the world do you think that's happened to? Do you think you...
I mean, odds are, as many people as there is in the world, there's got to be at least one other person.
Do you think you hold close to the record of most times shitting your pants in your life?
No.
How many times have you done it in your adult life?
I'd say probably at least 4.
Because I can't think of a time. I'm pretty good at holding in my shit. I mean, clearly ask that doctor. I didn't shit for a week one time I went to the hospital.
Yeah, that's true. And they did x-rays and said that you were completely full.
Yeah, it was Wednesday, and or I don't know. It was whatever day it was. They asked me, and I was like, oh, the Sunday before. It was the last time I shit. Yeah, but for instance, we've been at the gym, and you've said that being on the sit-up machine, that makes you shit, or it makes you fart. It smells like you shit all over the place.
It's just a fart.
You fart so much on that sit-up crunch machine that there's probably your DNA stuck on there. But I've been on there, and I had diarrhea when we were at the gym, and I held it in on that thing.
See, my thing
Which is weird because I'm your son. You think I would have the same bowel control as you.
The problem is when you're sick like that, I feel like liquid should not be coming out of your ass. And no matter how hard you squeeze your cheeks,
remember when we were at
it still comes out.
Remember when we were at Zia's, and I was like, I almost just shit my pants here, but I held it. I had a tight butthole, and do you want to go home? And I was like, no, let's keep I want to look at my comics, and then we can go home.
The thing is you freeze.
Yeah, that's what I did in the middle store. I freezed, clenched, and I was like, if I let go of my butt cheeks right now, I would have a chocolate fountain in my pants.
Yeah.
But I kept it together.
Yeah. I mean, I've shit my pants in Best Buy before.
Oh, really?
In a dress.
Oh, weren't you wearing a dress and a thong?
Yeah.
Did it did you shit on the floor in Best Buy? It went on the floor in the store?
It was running down my legs.
Did anybody say anything to you when you were leaving?
No.
They probably didn't want to talk to you, actually.
The smell was so bad. And I had a jacket that went to my dress. So I kind of took it and wrapped it around my waist and I walked out the door. You know the doorman had to have smelled it, the one that says, have a good day.
Mm-hmm.
He had to have smelled it. Had to have, hands down. And then I just went and sat in the car on my jacket.
Wow. Well, now that we got the shit stories out of the way, why don't you tell us about your childhood? Was there any shitting your pants that you happened in your childhood?
No.
Aw, darn.
I mean, probably as a toddler, but...
So tell us about your childhood, but wherever you want to start, like most interestingness.
Most interesting, huh?
Like when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you were a kid? At career wise.
Well, I really wanted to be a boy, for one thing.
Well, that's interesting to know.
Yeah, I used to sit
Like you wanted a cock?
I used to sit on the toilet backwards and wish that I was a boy. But, you
Wait,
know... that
what is sitting on the toilet backwards?
because they pee to stand up. So, I mean, the only way I can pee is to sit on
So you think boys stand up to pee, so I'm going to sit on the toilet backwards and pretend I have a penis.
Yep. Yep.
Well, that's interesting. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
It's very odd. Anything else you did to pretend to be a boy?
I was really a tomboy, so, I mean, climbing trees and that kind of stuff, riding my bike. I wasn't very girly. I mean, I did have dolls and stuff, but I played with them, but not as much as...
Did you try to hump your dolls? Because, like, yeah, I'm a man. Fuck these dolls.
No, I don't believe I ever did that. I mean, it's possible. Who knows, you know? But
You ever shit on your dolls? Oh, boy.
I didn't shit on my dolls, but I did have a rocking chair in my room,
Mm-hmm.
and I used to sleepwalk when I was little. And in my rocking chair was my Raggedy Ann and Andy doll.
Mm-hmm.
And in the middle of the night one night, I went and sat down in my chair and thought it was the toilet. And I peed. That was the end of Raggedy Ann and Andy. Yeah.
That was the end of Raggedy Ann and Andy.
Yep.
Yeah, so tell us about your childhood.
I think it just had like a normal childhood until
Well,
I was probably
A
about...
normal childhood. I've heard stories of you getting beaten with thorn bushes and shit.
Well,
How is that normal?
Well, I was going to say until I was about 8 years old when my mom passed away, and then my dad remarried 3 months after my mom died.
Would you say he remarried the devil?
Pretty close. There are times where I honestly think she has voodoo dolls of certain people and fucks with them. And maybe that's why I shit my pants. Now that I think about it, that could be the reason.
You think your mom or your stepmom had a voodoo doll of you and thought, today, how would you do that on a voodoo doll? Like, just rub shit on their pants? Like, how do you do that? I don't know if the mics heard that, but I just farted.
I was going to say, that was not me shitting my pants. I don't know, but if you have a voodoo doll, you know how to do that stuff.
I guess that's true, yeah. If you go to the point of making the voodoo doll, you've probably done some research and figured out how that stuff works.
Yeah, she was pretty freaking evil.
Like what's the most fucked up thing that happened to you in your childhood?
I think the most fucked up thing is like whenever we got in trouble, she would make us go out in the yard and get a switch. And if you don't know what a switch is, it's just a thin branch off of a tree, which the only
But
thing...
like they had thorns on them though, right?
Yeah, the only thing we had in our yard was rose bushes.
Mm-hmm.
So you slim pickings. You can't find one without a thorn.
Yeah.
So they would make us go get that, and then we would get spanked with that, and you would have to bend over and hold your ankles.
Were you naked? Like, was it bare butt or were you...
Bare butt, yeah. No, you had to pull your
okay.
pants down.
So did you ever end up, like, bleeding from the thorn bush?
Oh, hell yeah.
Lots of times. Not to say that doesn't sound bad, but I would be very afraid. I think my most fear would be that a thorn would go in my butthole.
In your butthole? Well, your cheeks aren't spread.
Well, if I'm bent over holding my ankles, my asshole's like, right out there.
Well, it's not. I mean, I guess it's kind of there.
So I think my biggest fear would be like, all right, Mom hit me. Oh, my butthole. Like, I think.
Well, and I don't know what was worse, like the switch thing.
Because like if a thorn goes in your butthole, well, you're not getting that sucker out of there.
Well, you're gonna have to dig for gold.
Exactly. Or poop. Oh, imagine having to poop out a thorn.
Mm.
But yeah, I think that'd be my biggest fear is getting a thorn in my butthole.
Well, I don't even know what's worse, like the switch thing, or she had this belt that was like real leather, but it was like super thin, and you'd have to bend over the waterbed.
Uh-huh.
and get spanked with
Oh,
it.
so when you get spanked, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, so you're like flying around.
whoa.
So 9 times out of 10, it wasn't your butt; it was your back or your thighs.
Yikes.
Yeah. So I mean, it was kind of like getting whipped. It was pretty terrible. But I don't know what's worse, that or the thorns. You know.
Kind of both shitty.
Right.
So did you have anything good happen in your childhood? I mean, from what people listening to this have heard, you're like, well,
this
is how people see your life right now. I was 8 years old and my mom died. I got beat with a stick, almost a thorn in my butthole, and then I grow up, have kids, and I shit my pants 4 times, and then my son makes me talk about it on a podcast. That's how people right now know your life.
My life was normal and good till I was 8 years old. I had lots of fun. Like, we went to Disneyland and...
Was your dad nice before he remarried your mom? Or married before he remarried?
Yes. Yes. He was very family man. We did all kinds of
stuff.
So
was it just like because he was like whipped that he listened to her and then eventually that just changed him? Or...
to be honest, I don't know. I don't know if he...
Or was it because of like, because I know they say like death changes people. Was it because,
or maybe he was angry
because your mom died? He was sad and he just took it out on the kids.
It's possible. A lot of the like spankings and stuff like that though didn't really come from him. It was all my stepmom. He like kind of left it up to her.
He just didn't do anything to stop it.
Yeah, he just let her do it.
I feel like if I was her, which in all would still be weird, I feel like it'd be really awkward to
spank somebody else's kid?
To abuse somebody else's child just because I'm married to them.
Well, definitely. And
well, because didn't she have some of her own kids that...
Yeah, she had 2 kids.
Did they get as bad abuse as you guys?
Yes.
Same or worse or equal? I just said the same thing twice, but whatever.
Equal.
Equally? Okay. Yeah. Well, at least she's just as shitty to her own kids as you guys.
Right. Right. I mean, they were... Like, when they first got married, they married 3 months after my mom died, and... It was because my dad claimed that he wanted a mom for me and my sister.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you're like, well, I'd like to perform when I wasn't getting beaten, Daddy.
Exactly. Exactly. And the crazy thing is she demanded that me and my sister call her mom.
Oh, that'd be weird.
But you're still grieving because your mom died. So, you know what I mean?
Like, how old were you? Like, how long has it been since your mom died when she starts, like, telling you, call me mom?
Oh, it was as soon as they got married.
So
that's like 3 months after she died.
Oh, really? That close? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So, like, there were times where I refused to call her mom because I was like, you are not my mom. Mm-hmm. And she wore these, like, really thick, like, fake fingernails. Mm-hmm. And she'd flick you in the lip if you did it. And so you'd always end up with, like, split open lips and stuff. And, like, even at the kitchen table, if you were eating and you, like, rest your arm on the table, she'd stab you with the fork and tell you no elbows on the table.
Can you say elbows again?
Huh?
Can you say elbows again?
Elbow?
You said elbows?
Elbow?
You said it with a little accent. But my only memory I really have of your parents, which mostly your dad, is that when we went to Vegas, I believe it was because your grandpa died, right? Mm-hmm. We were out to dinner, and he pulled me aside and goes, Jerome, if you ever want to get away from your mother, just give me a call, and you can come live with me.
And you know what's crazy about that?
What?
Is my grandpa died... I think it's either 8 or 9 years in July, mm-hmm. which he died on 7/11, which is kind of weird. So that's that many years ago. So you were like a preteen.
I was like 13, maybe 14.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, if you hate your mom, just come live with me. And like instantly I walked over to you guys and I was like, wow, your dad has offered me to stay with him. And you're like, what? I was like, yeah, you told me if I don't want to live with you guys anymore, I can go live with him. And Dad jokingly was like, yeah, go do it. We don't want you here. But like, honestly, even if, say I hated the shit out of you guys, I would rather live with you guys that I hate than him.
Right. Well, the thing is, too, is you guys don't even know them.
Yeah, I probably met him like 3 times in my life that I remember.
Right.
And he makes, like, on birthdays, any other occasions, he makes no
attempt
to say hi or anything like that.
No, yeah. No, and they even tried to steal Macy, which is your sister.
You could tell him that story of the kidnapping story.
The kidnapping story. This Macy was like a year and a half, and she had gone to stay with them. Like we were still talking then a little bit, and they asked me if she could come stay with them for like a week because my stepmom worked for America West, so they could take her and then fly her back in a week. And at the end of the week, I kept calling, and I'm like, when are you bringing her home? When are you bringing her home? When are you bringing her home? And
because it's a child and you're worried.
And the thing is while I was talking to him on the phone, I could hear her screaming in the background, I want my mommy.
Oh, really?
And my stepmom said to me, we're not bringing her home.
Oh.
And I was like, excuse me? She's like, we're not going to bring her home. We're going to keep her. I'm like, I don't think so. So this is when Daddy and I were first dating.
Like, how long would you say you guys are dating at this point?
I'd say maybe 6 months, maybe a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
I think he just started living with me.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't very long. And so we both worked at Carl's Jr. at the time, and we both had to work that night shift. So we got off at like 11 o'clock at night. So we went home and got our clothes and stuff and grabbed Melissa.
Didn't Mima come with you guys?
No.
Or was that a different time? Oh, that was when Daniel and them tried to kidnap Macy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Macy's almost been kidnapped multiple times.
Macy's dad.
It's hard to keep track of all that.
But yeah, so it was me, Daddy's friend Teddy, and Calvin and Melissa. Calvin was Melissa's boyfriend at the time.
You guys got like a whole gang of people.
So, because we didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So we drove all night, got there at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I knocked on the door, and my dad was up, and Macy was up running around playing, and she was only in a diaper. And as soon as my dad opened the door, I busted in and just pushed the door open, and I walked in, and Macy was excited to see me, so she came running. I grabbed her, and my dad's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And I said, you know what? Fuck off. And I grabbed Macy and ran out, and I left all of her clothes. I left everything that she had with them.
So like what did they like? It's weird to me that they could do that, and then they like how when he offers me to stay with him. Like he still thinks a relationship with you is semi okay.
Yeah,
but he
it's
tried
like
to kidnap your daughter.
Right. Well, and meanwhile, while I was in the house, I mean, I was in the house like maybe 2 minutes, if that.
Mm-hmm.
Daddy's friend Teddy was outside pissing on their house.
Really?
Yeah, I had no idea either. We get in the car and they're like, he's like, yeah, I pissed on their house. I'm like, good. And the weird thing is when we left, we went and got like some cheap ass hotel for us all to just kind of crash.
Mm-hmm.
And Melissa's boyfriend, Calvin, sleeps with his eyes open.
Really?
Creepiest thing I've ever seen. We were all just like staring at him. And it's not like just normal, like casual, your eyes are open. It's like frog eyes, like bugging out of your freaking head eyes. And he's just like staring while he's asleep.
That's weird.
It was very weird.
So to end this up, because we got to wrap it up soon because we got to go pick up Taylor. So this is going to be a little bit of a shorter podcast, but it's just like a special one for Mother's Day. Like I'm going to try to put this out tomorrow, which for everybody listening to this would be today on actual Mother's Day. But I want to talk to you about this new season of Prison Break because I haven't talked about that on anything yet. How are you feeling about Prison Break, this new redone Prison Break? Like compared to the original Prison Break, how do you feel about it?
Compared to, let's say, the original Prison Break first season.
Yeah.
I don't like it as much, and the reason that I don't like it as much is because I liked other characters.
Yeah, well, I like them all together, and it's kind of like how they did Arrested Development, where like a lot of them are separated.
Mm-hmm.
Which it's still I like the story,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm getting like by the end of it, it's like that feels like I watched a 15-minute show, which in most things it would be good. It's like it flew by, but like I feel like I'm not getting a lot out of it, and there's only 9 episodes.
Yeah, I want more of
like
just the group of people, like the dynamic.
Here, I'm gonna look up on
them.
IMDb because I can't think of their names either.
It's cool to have them all together. I guess they're interacting and their smart ass jokes and like
I really like
Teabag when they mess with him and all of that. I don't know. It's kind of cool.
Especially because like Teabag will be with them and then they'll do something and leave him behind and then he's like, oh fuck, and he tries to go after them. So like everybody's after the same goal, but in this one it kind of seems like everybody has their own plan to do something, and like
yeah, it's just kind of like all over the place. And I mean I don't find myself attached to the new characters.
Yeah, I don't
like
either.
I did in the beginning.
Okay, you know what's weird? On IMDb here, which shows how IMDb is not that reliable, it says that Sucre is in all 9 episodes, which that is not the case.
That is not the case because he's my favorite.
Yeah. But like one thing, I like him a lot. He was in the first episode, which I get he's probably busy doing other shows. But they had him and he's like, I want to come with him. They're like, no. And I was like, in the original Prison Break, he'd be like, I want to come with him. They'd be like, okay, yeah, we can use all the help we can get to get Michael out of prison.
Right.
And all that. Which it was interesting in the beginning when it was like reverse of season 1. Now it's Lincoln breaking Michael out of prison.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're out of prison and like, I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah.
We're saying all this. I still love the show.
I do too. It's really
great
do.
every time it's on. I don't think there's been a bad episode this season. I just wish they were all together more. And I am. Oh god, I'm so sad and mad that they killed Kellerman again. Like he was back, and then they shot him in the face, and I was like, oh my god, because like he was another one of those bad guys that turned good, kind of like Bagwell, where he's bad, but then he works with them, and he's good.
Yeah.
Like he helped them. He's the whole reason that all of them are free, and he got killed, and it was really like a pointless death. Like it didn't really do anything.
Yeah, but if you think
like
about
I know
it
put that one guy up in his office, and he's working with the bad guys and all that.
Yeah.
But like I don't know.
But if you think about it, he really didn't help him out.
He got them all off.
Not really, he didn't.
But
because what's his name? The main guy, Michael, had to go do the other crap because what he told them wasn't true. He didn't have the authority to do it.
Well, yeah, but that's only because they made it up for this new season. Originally, in the original plot, he did help them all, and then they kind of undid it in this.
Well, yeah.
I'm trying to find the guy's name. You know the guy that's in Ninja Turtles that was in Prison Break? The FBI agent from the original show?
Yeah, but I can't think of his name. I think they called him by his last name, too.
Yeah, I'm trying to find him. Because I know he's in this new season, and he hasn't shown up yet. Here, I'm just going to go to the original Prison Break, and I'll find it. But he's in this new season, and he hasn't been in it yet. So I have a tiny theory that he is the bad guy.
But then who's the guy that they just showed in the fancy house that was dressed up like Elvis? Like, do you think that there's a tie between the two?
I don't know. I'd be disappointed if that's like, oh, that's the guy Michael sent stuff to, because that's nobody we've ever seen before. Like, unless it's him that Michael's sending stuff to, or like, I don't know. I just got a feeling it's him. Oh, Mahone, Alex Mahone.
Yeah.
So, at least they said he's gonna be in this season, unless like last second things changed and he's not in it. I'm looking on his IMDb now to see if it's.
I want to know what those tattoos of the eyes on his
hands
because
they keep showing that too. So according to his IMDb, as far as I can see, it doesn't say he's in this new season, but it could just be they haven't put it on IMDb yet because he hasn't shown up yet. Because they announced like last second that he was in the show. Because I think they're kind of like everybody's back basically. But yeah, I want like T-Bag to be in it more. Like he's in it every once in a while with Sarah. Although we did call that Sarah's husband was bullshit.
Yeah.
And I think he still is.
I totally think
that cover up was way too convenient.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had everything like down to the T, which is like nothing in this show is that perfect unless it's Michael's plan.
Right. Well, and the thing is I think he knew they were gonna go in for a second and then get out.
Yeah, yeah. And one last thing I want to say about it, I think. Is it just me, or does it kind of seem like they're making Michael almost like he's kind of crazy now, and he doesn't really have a plan? He's kind of losing his mind after all this time.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Which I will be a little disappointed if that's how it ends, is with him like
cuckoo.
Yeah, which I mean, it makes sense after all he's been through. He completely could be cuckoo.
Yeah. Like
now, but I don't know. I still love the show. I hope they do more of it. After these 9 episodes, like I would like an actual, like a real season with them all together.
I agree. They could have his kid grow up and he could be Prison Break guy too.
That'd be funny. They do like a spin-off all their kids. And it was weird as like they do that with a lot of shows, but it would kind of fit in this show because the bad guys always go after their family. So it'd be like, oh yeah, the bad guy just took their kids this time,
right?
And that worked. But yeah, so I do like this season, but it's disappointing, but not disappointing me enough to think it's a bad show.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't stop watching it.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But yeah, so we got to wrap this up because we have to go pick up Taylor from work. So let me see. How long was this? Probably about like 30 minutes. Yeah, this was about like 30 minutes. So here, let me get this going here for a minute. All right, so thanks for listening to the Pleeka podcast, everybody. We'll be back next week. Next week, we're going to do like the same kind of thing where I interview the person, just talk about their life, except it'll be with Nick. And then the following week, which will be really interesting, is Nick's going to have to do this with me, and he's going to have to ask me questions.
That's funny.
Which I don't see him wanting to do or like knowing how to do.
Right. I do want to say one thing at the end to all you moms out there. Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, yeah, I meant to say that too, but I forgot. But she's a mother, and she remembers everything. So, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Go spend time with your kids. And, yeah, come back next week to listen to Nick's story.